56 of these. And we made it to Mother's Day. Wow. I have no idea what we did last year for Mother's Day. If we did anything in particular special or what. We must have. Maybe. I don't know.
I don't know.
No clue. Which is how I went into tonight's broadcast, which was I don't have a clue what I'm going to do this evening. So I was a good son. I called up my mother today and wished her a happy Mother's Day and said, yeah, what should I do? What do you like to drink? And because the cocktails that I knew she liked to drink were things like the grasshopper, which I'd love to make you a grasshopper. I've made a grasshopper previously. I need heavy cream in order to make a grasshopper, and I don't actually happen to have heavy cream on hand. And then it occurred to me I could make a grasshopper using coconut cream, and by that time I was like, no, well, let's not do that. So Mom said she likes caipirinhas, and she said she likes Planner's Punches, so that's what we're going to do this evening is we're going to do some mojitos, we're going to do some caipirinhas, and we're going to do some Planner's Punches, and we have a live studio audience again.
Woo!
Former roommate Gwen is here. She is in the house. The cat is completely ignoring us. He would prefer to look outside at the birds because apparently I'm not that exciting to the cat.
We have a David.
We do have a David.
And a Colleen.
And a Colleen, Miss Bolin. We have a new lamp. It looks kind of weird here. I mean, you're getting, I don't know, reflections.
David said you make the grasshopper with bay leaves.
No, David, we do not make the grasshopper with bay leaves. It does not have the same consistency. Not that I wouldn't mind watching my mom get completely schnockered, but you know.
Is it still a grasshopper?
I don't know. It's an Irish grasshopper.
It's an Irish grasshopper. We'll call it an Irish cicada. That's what we'll call it. No, I was going to do a variation of the grasshopper and call it a cicada, but I would need heavy cream, so we're not going to do that. I did look. I didn't find a cocktail called the cicada, so I think that's something that I'm going to have to do at some point. We're going to toast. We're going to do a toast, and this toast is going to use shot glasses, which you've seen before, but we have picks from Dizzy Diva that we have not shown you before, and so I've just skewered a blackberry on each one of these picks, and it's just going to lay right across the shot glass, just like that. Won't that be pretty?
Oh, and Keith is here, but he's banned, so he can't comment.
Keith is banned again.
What did Keith do?
What hasn't Keith done?
Ruth says she got her mom one of those jellyfish tanks a couple years ago.
Oh, awesome.
And it's her favorite thing.
The Australian 2013 from Transcontinental Rum Line. There is a potential that our studio audience participant is going to get a chance to maybe go to Australia at some point. So we're going to toast to the possibility by drinking an Australian rum. Distilled in Australia, bottled in France, aged 4 years in oak cask in Australia, and then 2 more years in an oak cask in Europe. Presumably not the same oak cask. So.
Keith, they are not real jellyfish.
They are not. That is true. They are not.
They are actually little plastic things.
Real jellyfish don't move like that. Well,
Plastic
actually,
ones move like that because there's an airflow motor. But
actually, real ones probably would move like that with that much current in the tank. So, but then they'd wrap around each other, and it would be bad.
Yeah.
There would be mass confusion.
Yeah.
All right.
Let go, let go.
So we have one for Gwen.
Yay.
We have one for Star.
Stabby.
Stabby. And one for Pooch. Ta-da. Blackberries all the way around. Oh, that's kind of nice. I remember the Australian rum being weird.
Just like Australians.
Mmm.
Ooh, this is very nice.
Yeah.
Good job, Australia.
So, I don't know who distilled this. It's bottled, obviously, by TCRL. But Bundaberg is one of the larger distillers in Australia, and Bundaberg just walked away with a ton of awards from the San Francisco Spirits International competition.
This is the new pick.
New pick.
Oh, great.
New pick. So we got 4 of these from Dizzy Diva. So we've got 2 that are bluish and 2 that are greenish in color. And I think the blackberry is going to go really well with this rum, actually. A little bite into the blackberry, a little sweetness. That's quite nice, actually. Sweetness helps a little. I'm liking that. Okay, so that's the Transcontinental Rum Lines, Australia, 2013. Okay, let's see. So we're going to put this back away. This is one of 4 bottles that we got prior to spring starting at the from the TCRL releases. Quite like them. We got 2 from Fiji, 1 from Australia, and 1 from Guadalupe. Yep. All right. There we go. There's the toasting. What else are we going to do? So last week we had the strangeness of we didn't have anything new, so there was no new stuff section of, and then this week is different. This week we actually have a few things, which is going to be kind of cool. But I need them brought up, otherwise I have to like hop off.
Mdale is Paloma with homemade pineapple syrup.
Oh, okay, cool. I saw something online and it's cheap and it's from somewhere in China, but I couldn't resist. So we have 2 wall sconces that are tentacles, which will have a lamp that comes up right off of that. Isn't that cool? So we're trying to decide where we put those. Whether we put them like up here, or we put them over the back door, something along those lines. Don't know. Don't know where we're going to put them, but we're going to put them because tentacle lamps. I mean, what's not to like, right? So what else? What else we got? Yeah,
You got a new shirt.
It's a banner week in the Pacucci household.
We
So
both got new shirts.
I got new shirt, new tiki shirt. Woohoo! My wife has a new tiki shirt. I mean, it's rayon, I think, but you know, it looks nice. It's kind
We
of
have a
cool.
new water mug.
Gwen brought us a new water mug. Look at this. Yep,
There's the dollar store.
plastic, which it's got water in it. Even.
Yeah.
Right. So why is it up here?
Because
You don't-
I refilled it.
Oh, okay. So, you may have noticed in the past, back here, we have had the Tiki Cat,
By Jeff Garantia.
Granita, I think it is, right?
It's on the back.
Yep. And he did these prints, and we put them in frames because we like them so much. So here is the follow me to Neverland Island, where drinking never grows old. So you got a picture of Tinkerbell.
Tiki Bell.
Tiki Bell. Sorry, Tiki Bell. Yeah, bad. Can't say the other word. No, because then they can monetize my broadcast. What? How does that work? I don't know. I could get a cease and desist order. That would be
Definitely.
that would be awful. And then we have the what is it? This one is
Under the Sea.
Under the Sea. Yes. So you can see the kind of evil octopus in the background with sharks and all sorts of other stuff done in his style, which I really think is very cool.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have to put those up somewhere. We've got them in the right now. Well, right now they're in transit, but they usually go in the rack with the rest of the rums, just to provide some decor in the rum rack. Is there anything else? Is that it? I think that might be it.
I think that's it. And the picks.
Woohoo! And the picks, which we forgot to do last week because we did have them last week. But all right. So what should we do? We should do a mojito. So mojitos, yum. Mojitos are Puerto Rican excuse me. They're Cuban. They migrated when a lot of other Cubans migrated to Puerto Rico, and the mojito has become a staple of a sort of American, Latin American cuisine and drinking here in the United States. It's a very simple drink. It's got some mint in it, it's got some simple syrup, it's got some limes, and then it's got rum. And generally, this is supposed to be a clear drink, or largely clear. So you want to do a white rum with this. And you don't really need it to be one of your top-end, high-scale rums. But since we have a studio audience here, we're going to make two different rums. We're going to make this drink with two different rums. And because we're not into being confusing at all, both rums are called Havana Club. So if you've been privy to the broadcast where we've talked Cuban rums in the past, you'll note that there's been conversation about why are there two different Havana Clubs. Well, the family that owned the original recipe to Havana Club booked it off the island just before the collapse. And, oh, by the way, should probably mention this. Cuba no longer has a Castro in charge of it for the first time in, oh my gosh, years.
Since like 1960 something?
Yeah, since I think it was 60. Yeah, maybe even be earlier. Anyway, but yes, so they booked it, and then Bacardi said, "Hey, you're not doing anything with that recipe, are you? So if we hand you a large wad of cash, can we then have the name Havana Club and make according to your original recipe?" And that's where we get this. This is a Puerto Rican rum that says Havana Club on it, and it is made by Bacardi. The sugarcane and the stills all remain on Cuba. And while they may not have had the original recipe, although there's some question about that, the government, in cooperation with Pernod Ricard, I think it is producing authentic Havana Club from Cuba. Because Havana's in Cuba, hence the word Havana. So we are going to put these two rums up against each other, and that's totally not fair. And don't get on my case. The Havana Club was purchased during that short period of time where we were allowed to legally do that. But we're going to do some mojitos. So we're going to do two of them. So I'm going to do two rocks glasses. Mojito requires mint. Okay. This is a hard one because...
Spearmint? Is it mint?
Right. Here's the question, right? What kind of mint do you use? Do you use spearmint? Do you use double mint gum? No, don't use double mint gum. That would be bad. Peppermint, spearmint or peppermint is generally the rule. You can use any kind of mint you want. And it says most recipes are going to tell you like 4 to 6 mint leaves. Well, I mean, mint leaves come in all shapes and sizes, so I don't know how to tell you how much mint to use. Use the amount of mint that looks good and tastes good to you, and that's just going to mean you're going to have to play around with it some. So normally I would say 4 to 6 mint leaves, but our mint is relatively small in terms of its leaves. So I just took an entire stalk here and ripped all the leaves off of it. And I'm going to do it again. If you think 4 to 6 big leaves, I'm going to aim for that level of mint in here. And I'm going to do that the same for the second one. You just pull those right off. Drop them in the glass.
Mint murderer.
Yep, mint murderer. That's what I am. It's already been cut off of the rootstock, so it's already dead. We're just making use of it.
I murdered it earlier.
Let nothing go to waste. If it's going to die anyway, might as well eat it, right? That's kind of a morbid thought. I mean, that really is. It's going to die anyway, might as well eat it. All right, we need a ½ ounce of... about right. It looks like about the same amount of mint in there. Also, of course, mint leaves vary in how minty they are and how fresh your mint is. So all of this goes to say no two mojitos are going to be exactly the same because you never know on the mint. All right, hey Greg, I need a ½ ounce of simple syrup. And you know what I forgot to do? Yep, I forgot to open the bottles ahead of time. There we go. Always my nemesis. Don't open the bottle ahead of time. Then when you need to open the bottle, it doesn't want to open. All right, so ½ ounce simple syrup. There's a ½ ounce. That goes in there. And then we need another ½ ounce because we got a second mojito going. I really should get around to putting speed pourers back on these bottles ahead of time, but yeah, I keep forgetting to do that. Okay. Lime juice, 3/4 of an ounce of lime juice. Once again, I put the simple in, and then I'm going to put lime juice in here in order to clear out that. But before we add the lime juice, we're going to muddle these guys. And so I'm just going to reach over. I'm going to grab a wooden muddler, and you can use either end of. This is a nice muddler. You can use either end of it. I'm going to use the flat end because I don't want to really rip apart the mint leaves. If you rip apart the mint leaves, you get kind of a bitter flavor to it. So what you want to do is press down, but press down with this, fair amount of force. But you're trying not to rip apart the mint leaves. You just want to break apart the cell walls and get them to express out all of that wonderful minty goodness into the glass. Doesn't take very long. It does take a certain amount of pressure. There we go. And if I were doing this with the other end, I would have like tiny little mint shards throughout this glass, and that would be not what we're after. You're not seeing this. That's tasty. All right. Now what? Now the 3/4 ounce of lime juice. My lime juice. Lime juice. Freshly squeezed, of course. 3/4 of an ounce. Man. So the question that we have from the peanut gallery is, what would happen if you used lemon? It would be not as good. So, I mean, this is actually no kidding. So the question about different sours. The principal 3 sours that you can use: grapefruit, lemon, lime. Grapefruit has a very distinctive flavor, and its acidity is... I don't think the acidity is as pronounced in the flavor profile, but chemically it's much more acidic. It's really bad for people that are on like certain time-release drugs, so that's kind of bad. The difference between lemon and lime. I think the actual flavor profiles of lemon and lime are certainly closer to each other than they are to grapefruit. Lemon strikes me as being very tart up front, and then goes away. Just kind of fades away pretty quickly. It's like, bam! Oh, right, lemon. Okay, and then we're done. Lime is just kind of this consistent tart note through the cocktail. So it has a longer finish, but it doesn't have that same upfront pow. So it's not as bright on the front palate. We need 2 ounces of rum in each of these. I built these in the glass, didn't I? Yeah, okay, we're gonna do that. We're gonna go with it. Normally you'd shake these, and I'm just like, dummy. That's all right. We can do this. It's fine. You can do that with a mojito. You don't have to shake it. But what I am going to do is add some ice to these, and then I'm going to pour over that the 2 ounces of rum. Get that rum really, really cold as it goes in. And now we need 2 ounces of rum. And someone else is going to have to pay attention here, because I'm going to put 2 ounces of the Cuban on the left and then 2 ounces of the Puerto Rican on the right. So we're going to try and do that. All right. So there you go. There's 2 ounces. Nope. Do not do that. That would be bad. And we have 2 made with the Cuban rum. Nope. And
Tastes a lot alike.
I expected there to be a lot more difference between these 2 rum. Oh, wait. There we go. Now we're just going to stir these up because I didn't shake them. Okay, so we're essentially doing this the same way you do a caipirinha in terms of the mixing. And as it turns out, these glasses are kind of small, because I'm going to have to top this off with some club soda, which means we're not going to get a whole lot of club soda in these guys, which is perfectly fine. Because who needs club soda, right?
Right.
All right, we're going to garnish this with some mint and a lime wheel. So we're just going to... David, you ready? You ready? You got a drink in your hand? Yeah, okay. Spanking the mint, buddy. There you go, just for you. Because nobody else cares, right? Yeah, sure. All right. Spank the mint. Okay, we need lime wheels, or... Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this lime wheel in half. And then I'm just going to put 1/2 of that on one. Like right there. And then we'll do the same thing on the other side. Wow, they're talking about me. I can tell. There we go. All right. So we have 2 mojitos, right? On the left-hand side, we have the mojito made with Cuban rum, and on the right-hand side, we have the mojito made with Puerto Rican rum that is supposed to be like Cuban rum. So there we go. And we're going to go with the Havana Club Bacardi style here. Right. Yeah, that's serviceable.
I'll let you start with that one.
Hey, you know what's missing from this? The club soda I just mentioned.
Should we put it back?
Yep, put it back. It's all right.
He's cute.
I'm cute. There.
You
That
have to make
seems-
some more room for the club soda.
Right. There you go. That's the story. We're sticking to it. Okie doke. There you go, my friends. There's a couple of mojitos,
Mm.
both using Havana Club, not the same Havana Club.
Cheers.
Cheers, Australia.
Cheers.
And you'll note that you could use a dark rum with these drinks. It would just look strange, and people would go, "That's not a mojito because it's not a clear beverage." Does that mean you can't? No, doesn't mean that at all. If you were to use something else, like let's say you wanted to use a clear rum that you just happen to have on your bar, that comes in this big bottle with a green and yellow label on it that says white overproof pot still Jamaican rum. I don't know what that is, but it's not a mojito. And it would kick your butt. It'd probably be tasty. But, I mean, Worthy Park. Oh, yeah, Worthy Park. Yummy stuff. You know, that might actually be really good. And we'll do that someday later. Some other time, we will make mojitos using Jamaican rums. And life will be really happy.
Okay, so we have comments.
Oh, we have comments from the tasting crew.
They are both good.
They're good. Uh-huh.
They're definitely different.
Yes.
And the Cuban is much smoother.
Yes. Yes, it is. I mean, look, come on. You gotta love Bacardi. Bacardi makes rum popular in the United States. So, you know,
And that one, we can buy at ABC.
we can get this at an ABC store.
That one,
This-
we have to go to Canada.
I mean, if by ABC you mean alcohol beverage control, yes, you can buy this at an alcohol beverage control store, but you'd have to be one on Cuba, which they won't allow me to go to at the moment. So, you know, there we go. All right. Ta-da! Cuban and Puerto Rican rums going into mojitos. People are swapping the mojitos back and forth. There's mass confusion.
Vaccination!
Vaccination. Yes, thankfully vaccination. It's one of the nice things about mojitos. 40%, you're topping it off with the club soda. Man, you can drink these things all day long. They're great. You noticed I made the mojito, built it into glass. Absolutely, you can do that. Not a problem. If you want to express out more of the mint flavor, if you throw it in a shaker and shake it, you'll get even more mint coming out of this because you're beating the daylights out of the mint with all the ice flying around in the shaker, that sort of thing. I could do another mojito shaken just so that we could see the difference. But we got 3 more cocktails to get through this evening, so maybe we shouldn't do that because we're saving the higher proof stuff for later. So yeah. Next up is the Caipirinha. So we're journeying a little far afield here because we're not actually going to use rum. We're not going too far afield because the spirit that is involved is casacha, and casacha is made from sugarcane. So it has a lot more in common with the French style of rum agricoles, and it doesn't have the same AOC as rum agricole. It has a different set of guidelines and rules. But, I mean, if you're drinking something, say, what rum is this close to? It's going to be a lot closer to a rum agricole than it is going to be to any of the molasses-based rums. And this actually is built in the glass. I promise it is. So we're going to go with double rocks glass. I'm using an Appleton Estate rocks glass. I don't know why. Happened to be the first thing I picked up. To the best of my knowledge, Appleton doesn't actually do Kasasha because Appleton is a Jamaican rum. Why would they do a Brazilian spirit? I don't know. They don't. So this actually, you could use lime juice and simple syrup. Anybody from Brazil will probably beat you within an inch of your life if you call that a caipirinha, though. Caipirinha really needs to be made from fresh lime wedges, and fine white sugar. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to take a lime. I've already cut the ends off the lime. We're going to cut this into wedges.
It says incorrect.
There. And there. I'm going to throw those halfway across my bar, because I can. Wow. So once again, note that this is one of those drinks where, depending on the size and the juiciness of your lime, we're going to need a bigger glass than this. Never mind. Forget the Appleton glass. That's not happening. We're going with Archipelago. There we go. That looks much better. Okay. So you've got a full lime cut into wedges and thrown in your glass. Right? So far, so good. Next up, we need 2 teaspoons of fine white sugar. So how did I get fine white sugar? Please God, do not use powdered sugar in this cocktail. Powdered sugar has cornstarch in it in order to keep it from clumping. But you know what cornstarch will do to it'll be bad. So what I did is I took some simple Domino sugar and I threw it in a spice blender, spice grinder, one of the blade grinders, and just blended it for, grind it for a few moments, and you get this nice fine powdery sugar. And it really makes a difference because in this case, the sugar is going to help break apart, the sugar crystals are going to help break apart the limes, and so you'll get a lot more expression of the lime from this. And because of that, I'm actually going to go ahead and use the rough edge of the muddler. After I wipe off the sugar and mint from the other end, because otherwise I'll get it all over my hands. Now, I should point out that drinks that require muddling, especially something like the Caipirinha that requires a lot of muddling, are typically not things you should be ordering from your bartender when he's slammed. Wait for that sort of thing. All right, so Caipirinha. So here we go. We're just going to mash up some of these limes with the sugar, and it's all going to be good. Good. So the first time I ever had a Caipirinha was at what we refer to as a meat faucets. It's the Brazilian steakhouses, and having a young lady come wandering around with a cart and make caipirinhas to order while you are gorging yourself on all sorts of meat is not a bad thing. All right, so there we go. We've got the lime and we've got sugar, and it's all been scrunched up. And then what are we going to do? So we're going to fill this with some ice. Actually, I'm going to try and crack this ice a little bit. I just don't want the great big cubes. Not sure how successful I'm going to be. We're going to do this way. How about that? That's much better.
Are you spanking things again?
I am not spanking things. I am breaking things. I am cracking ice. Darn it. All right. And then I'm going to be heretical about this. I'm actually going to toss a little bit of crushed ice in here. There you go. Now, one of the nice things about the Caipirinha is this base you can use with other fruits as well. So you could throw in mangoes or strawberries or blackberries and muddle those in with the lime and do flavored Caipirinhas. Once again, some of your Brazilians will probably kill you for that, but they make for really tasty drinks. So what else goes in here? Right, 2 ounces of Kasasha. I could have sworn we had another bottle of Kasasha lying around, but we could look it up because we have a spirits menu on hand. Yeah, I can't believe I own enough spirits at this point to actually have a spirits menu. Current as of, actually, it's late April, not May.
No, it's currently current because there's some write-ins.
Ah, okay.
These are the rums.
Yeah, we got 2 pages of rums. What you
Those-
can't
that's
see
the
is
scotches. And then this is
others.
other spirits.
Okay, what you missed was me pouring 2 ounces of Kasasha.
We do have 2 Kasashas.
We do. I thought so. Now the question is, where is the other bottle of Kasasha? I didn't know. As I recall, I like the other bottle of Kasasha better than I like the P2, but I don't remember what it is or why.
It's the
So-
Aqua Ligra.
So we have, it's probably in the back. So we've muddled the lime and the sugar together, filled it with ice, added a Kasasha. We're going to stir this a little gently. And then we're going to garnish this with a lime wheel. I'm sending crushed ice flying everywhere. Great. Okay, not everywhere. I threw it on the bar. There. It's going to go back in the glass. Lime wheel. This time we're going to go with a full-fledged, full-on lime wheel. None of this half-lime pansy-ass stuff. There we go. And there. Caipirinha. Eat it with like 6 kinds of meat next time you're at a Brazilian steakhouse. It'll be worth it, I promise. Yummy. Star, what is the name of the restaurant at Disney World?
Oh, I would have to look that up.
There is a Latin American themed restaurant at Disney World,
Uh-huh.
and they make their own caipirinhas. Again, lovely women coming around with a bar cart and make caipirinhas
Lovely
for
women
you.
coming around you.
Drinking your caparinas.
Not drinking your caipirinha, they're making your caipirinha.
Oh, no, for you.
For me, I have lovely women drinking my caipirinhas,
Right.
so I don't know how that works, but because does that mean I'm the lovely person
Yes.
making the
You
caipirinhas?
are.
All
You
right.
are a lovely person.
Yay! All right, so that's the last I'll see of the caipirinha. So
You want to taste?
I did have a taste.
Okay, yeah, and that's
So what do
the
you think?
last you'll see of it.
Okay, so I'm going off of liquor.com's recipe for the caipirinha. Frankly, for my flavor, I think you could use like 1 more teaspoon of the sugar.
Yeah, I
think-
think so.
Would you like to bring that back and I'll put a teaspoon of sugar in it?
Yes, please.
I won't argue with that.
Well, the other thing is you got to know your audience, and if your audience has a bit of a sweet tooth, then you probably want to use a little more sugar. So I'll do that, and then I will do this.
I'll set it down for you to start.
Yay.
Trying to hold it.
Here, hold the lime. Because it makes it much easier if I don't have to like worry about where the lime is. Wow. Okay, no, there's not enough liquid in here for me to do this. I could add more Kasasha. Nope, it'll be fine. It'll all be fine. It'll be good. Trust me, it'll all be fine. Where was somebody's telling me that 4 years ago? All right. Now we're going to taste that. Yep. There you go. That's what it needed. It needed 1 more teaspoon of the sugar. Yep, that's tasty. That's a caipirinha. Happy with that. That's also an old bottle of P2, so it's probably not as bright and fresh as it should be. And now Gwen's going to taste it and go, yep, that's a caipirinha, unlike that thing you were foisting off on me previously. Okay, so the mojito and the caipirinha are not truly tiki drinks.
I
Yes?
have been to Brazil and had caipirinha, and it's legit delish.
So studio audience says, been to Brazil, had caipirinhas, your caipirinha is a real caipirinha. All right, I'm good with that. I'm done. Peace out. No, wait, no, I have 2 more drinks to make. No, can't do that. So, Mommy said, the caipirinha, the thing with the rum that isn't a rum, the Brazilian steakhousey thing. I went, caipirinhas. Oh, right, got it. And then she said, and Planters Punches. I went, great, awesome. There is no canonical Planters Punch recipe. But the punch recipe that people tend to cite as being formulaic for the Planner's Punch is actually on my buttons. I have buttons. Where are the buttons? The buttons are there. For Lovecraft cocktails. And there's a mnemonic to keep in mind, which is 1 sour. They're right behind you, hon. Right there. Right there.
I got one in my hand. I just have to come to the other side of the screen.
Ta-da! See, you can't. There you go. 1 sour, 2 sweet, 3 strong, and 4 weak. Put all that together, and probably add a couple of dashes for spice, and there you go. That's a basic punch. Having said that, I use that recipe a lot, and just whip up stuff. You know, here's 1 sour. Great, fine, lime juice. 2 sweet. Whatever you want to do. You want to do 2 parts Demerara. You want to do 1 part grenadine, 1 part simple syrup. You want to use falernum. Whatever you want to do, as long as there's 2 parts sweet to the sour. And then 3, the 3 strong, rum. Come on. And then the 4 weak is usually there's some sort of fruit juice or some form of fruit juice and ice, because you're going to get that dilution from that. And then a couple of dashes of bitters, and boom, you're done. Okay. So let's go look at the non-canonical recipes for the Planner's Punch. We'll start with the 1937 version of the punch as created by Donn Beach. Donn the Beachcomber Beach. All right. So this is
Son of a beach.
this has got to be perfect, right? It's got to be exactly in line with the 1, 2, 3, 4 mnemonic.
Paradiso 37.
Paradiso 37 is the name of the restaurant in Walt Disney World.
Disney Springs.
And the Caipirinhas were good. The food was good, and I gotta say the woman making them was highly, highly attractive. Anyway, so the Planner's Punch from Donn Beach doesn't actually follow the 1, 2, 3, 4 recipe, because it has a ½ ounce of simple syrup and a ½ ounce of grenadine. Okay, that's fine. That's 1 sweet. Wait, 1 sweet. So that would mean you'd have to have ½ an ounce of the sour, right? Okay, so there's a ½ ounce of sour, right? Okay, so that actually works because this drink has ½ an ounce of lime, 1 ounce of sweet split between the simple and the grenadine. We're on track. We're doing fine. And then there's a ½ ounce of falernum. Wait, but that doesn't really fit. It's kind of sweet. It's kind of sour. It's spicy. How does that fit? And then there's 2 ounces of rum. Wait, there should be 3 ounces of rum in that cocktail if you're following the 1, 2, 3, 4 methodology. So this does not follow that methodology, at least not closely, but it's pretty close. All right, so what are we going to do? We are going to, right, this is a blended drink, so there's water in that glass. All right, let's clean out that shaker tin. That shaker, blender tin. Right, okay. Yep. Nope. Nope, not using that one. Nope. Fortunately, my dear wife knows me and bought me more than 1 blender tin. So there we go. So we're going to build this in here. Once again, we're going to follow the standard rule. Okay, I'll reiterate this. There's 2 sorts of standards for mixing your cocktails, and what
goes where?
What goes in first? The ranking of the ingredients that are going in. The order. Duh, order. That's the word I'm looking for. The order at which the ingredients go in. So I always put in my sweet components first because I want to rinse out my jigger with all of the other components. The other way of doing this is always put in your cheapest ingredients first and end up with the expensive ingredients. That way, if you're like me and you've spaced off where you are in the middle of building this cocktail, you're not sitting there with $200 hooch at the bottom of your shaker going, now did I add enough grenadine to that? Have I added the lime juice yet? And then have to chuck that because you don't know where you are in the cocktail. So always save the really expensive stuff to go in at the last. Okay, house grenadine, not all that expensive. We're going to start with a ½ ounce grenadine. Once again, grenadine is not that vile, evil red substance that you get from Well, you know who makes it. It is actually pomegranate juice. It's a syrup made with pomegranate juice. That is what you should be using for grenadine. Maybe kicked up a little bit with some pomegranate molasses. I actually use a home blend that starts with a custom, a small batch grenadine, and then I add a few things to it, like some hibiscus syrup to make it a little redder and make it a little tartar. And then I also add some pomegranate liqueur because I like my drink strong. Okay, so then we also have to have a ½ ounce of simple syrup. And Donn Beach's recipe calls for straight up simple syrup, not demerara or any other funky kind of sweetener. It's just a simple syrup. All right, so we're gonna do that. There you go, simple syrup. Boom. And now you have a viscous mess at the bottom of your glass that's vaguely pink. Yep. Then the weird ingredient, the ½ ounce of falernum. So I don't know where this fits in that whole 1, 2, 3, 4 business, because I mean it is a liquor, but it's only 11% alcohol, so it's hard for me to call that part of the strong, right? I mean it's like, I mean as strong goes, it's pretty weak. ½ ounce. Oh, we get a James Bond theme coming up on the music front. Right, ½ ounce. And then we need a ½ ounce of lime juice. Because, yeah, limes. Gotta love limes. So I had some lime juice left over from last night when we had some people come over to pick Star up and take her off to a hockey game.
Woo!
First,
Go Caps!
first time ever seeing a hockey game live. Star had a blast. She loved it.
Oh yeah, they're fun.
And so I had a little bit of that lime juice that was left in here. You know, like fresh lime juice. Gotta have fresh lime. So all I did was I added like 4 or 5 more limes worth of lime juice to this. Brightens it right back up. You're fine. I mean, I wouldn't keep this for like 3 or 4 days, but you're fine with doing, you know, the next day, brightening it up with some limes. Fine, no problem. Okay, so we've got 2 ounces of rum need to go in this. 1 ounce is supposed to be an aged Jamaican rum. Okay, sure. I'm going to go with this Jamaican pot still gold rum from Hamilton. Hamilton is not a distillery. Hamilton is a bottler. And this is, if I remember right, this is Worthy Park. Unique blend of light and heavy Jamaican pot still rum selected for its flavor and authenticity from Worthy Park Estate Warehouse. Oh, happy place. Happy place. Okay, so 1 ounce of that. Next up, 1 ounce moderately aged rum. Doesn't say what style of rum. You can use anything you want. Every Planter's Punch is going to be slightly different. I guess that's kind of the theme this evening, is that each one of these drinks is going to be different each time you make it. Moderately aged. I happen to have some 8-year-old Baku from the Dominican Republic. Love this stuff. Love Baku rum. A little on the sweet side, but it's still good stuff. If you like Diplomatico Exclusiva, you're going to like the Bakus. I promise. Nope. It's just a little dark in here, so it's hard for me to see. Okay. There we go. Now, traditionally, there's 2 dashes of some bitters that go in here, and you know, by and large, when these drinks were being made, the bitters that was on hand was Angostura, so we'll go with Angostura. We'll go 2 dashes of the Angostura.
More James Bond.
Now, if you like Angostura bitters, or if you just like bitter components to your cocktails, you can always throw in another bitter if you want. We're going to go 2 dashes. There's 1. There's 2. 2 dashes of Ango. And just because I think it'd be fun, I'm going to reach for the rhubarb bitters. Yeah, sure. We'll go 1 more dash of the rhubarb bitters. It's going to add a little more complexity to it, a little funkiness to it. Oh. Okay. We'll just do a single dash of the rhubarb bitters. Go wild. Play around with your bitters. It's good for them and for you. Okay, next up, we're going to go 6 ounces crushed ice. That's about 6 ounces from, I'm just eyeballing this. Go in there. And then this goes on the spindle blender for 5 seconds. When you do a flash blend, maximum of 5 seconds. Don't go any longer than that. You're just trying to aerate it a little bit. If you go any longer than that, you're really going to get over diluted. So here we go. I'm going to call that a little under 5 seconds. Isn't that good? And then we pour this unstrained into a highball glass, which I got somewhere here. Yep, there we go. One of those. Unstrained. It's got a nice little froth on it. Very frothy, actually. And then you want to top this off so you don't have, so you're not coming up to like here on the wash line, right? So we're going to throw some more crushed ice in there. Top that off. Like that. Garnish for this, you can go wild or you can be rather tame about it. I'm going to ask my wife to go to the back room and
Ooh.
grab me some
I know
orchids.
what you want.
I want an orchid. I want an orchid.
I want an orchid.
And I'm going to grab a swizzle stick and shove a swizzle stick and a straw in this. Swizzle stick, whatever kind of swizzle stick you want. This is the Donn Beach's version. So how about a pineapple? Sure. Pineapple. I'm going to do that. All right, so there you go. There's your swizzle stick. You're going to need a cocktail orchid. If I were working industry, I would use a pick in order to put this on the drink. I'm not. So there. And then we're going to go ahead and go with a nice little pink straw. Yeah, that'll work. Look at this. Look, there you go. How is that not gorgeous, right? There's a Planter's Punch, Donn's 1937 era Planter's Punch. Right? This is as close to the original as I can get, right?
Beautiful.
Where's that straw from?
Oh shit, that's good. Oh man. Oh, I gotta remember that combination of rums. Oh, that's really good. I don't know what happened to the drink. It just disappeared.
It went all gone.
Woof. Oh, it's a little on the
So
sweet.
pretty.
It's a little on the sweet side,
Ooh, I love me some sweet drinks.
but oh man,
That's a Surfside Sip straw.
it is a Surfside Sip
Oh,
straw.
yeah,
Yes,
It almost tastes a little bit like bubble gum.
but there's no double mint in it.
No.
We've already been over that. There's no
More
double
like-
mint.
More like regular bubble gum.
Hubba Bubba.
Yeah,
We're gonna call this the
Hubba
Hubba Bubba drink.
Bubba.
Brooke wants to know what the second rum was.
The second rum is the Baku 8. This guy, Dominican Republic. We have the 5-year, the 8-year, and the 12-year Baku. We first had I think we had the 8-year Baku 8 years ago, like 8 years ago, something like that, at a rum tasting, and then we couldn't find Baku rums anywhere. And then finally, our friends at S&R landed Baku rums, and we bought every one they had. Not every bottle. We bought all the expressions that they had, yes. Because we loved it so much. And then the first rum on that was the Worthy Park, the Ed Hamilton's bottling of the Jamaican from Worthy Park. If you wanted to kick that up a notch, if you wanted to just, instead of using an aged Jamaican, you could have gone with an unaged Jamaican and gone with something like the Rum Bar, which would have been overproof. And the Rum Bar is actually produced by Worthy Park, so it'd be the similar flavor profile, just a little hotter, which might actually balance out some of that sweetness a little bit. Could do with just like a spritz over the top. I'm wondering if that, I really like the flavor of that. I wonder if that last dash of rhubarb really made that. I mean, that's kind of nice, yeah.
That was delish.
2017 is when we had the Baku.
Oh, so that wasn't that long ago. It was only 4 years ago. I was thinking it was like
Yeah.
8 years ago or something ridiculous like that. Nope.
8 to go with the 8 Baku.
Yeah, maybe that was it. All right, it was 8. It was Baku 8 that we had 4 years ago. And, yep. And it took us like 2 years to find it and then get the guys from SNR in order to be able to purchase it. So that is Donn Beach's version of that cocktail. And Donn, as we know, started this whole rum rhapsody thing. But there are other places that produce punches. And as it turns out, they also don't follow the 1, 2, 3, 4 mnemonic. And the place I'm thinking of in particular is Smuggler's Cove. And so,
We've been there.
when I went to grab a swizzle stick, I specifically did not grab one from Smuggler's Cove because I knew I was going to do a second Planter's Punch, and this one was going to be from Smuggler's Cove. So I'm going to use a Smuggler's Cove swizzle stick for that. And find me a Smuggler's Cove swizzle stick. How's that?
Yes, sir.
Because I'm going to make a second Planter's Punch. Once again, like I said, it doesn't follow the 1, 2, 3, 4 mnemonic, but, Rebels! Blended drink. Because I have yet another blender tin, so I can do that. Yep, that's Smuggler's Cove. Smuggler's Cove swizzle stick right there. Right there. You can tell because it says Smuggler's Cove on it and has the SC logo. And there's my signed edition of Smuggler's Cove because Martin Kate is at least a minor deity. Yep, so awesome dude. All right, so what else are we going to do? Second Planter's Punch. 3/4 of an ounce Demerara for the sweet component of this. Demerara syrup. So this is Demerara syrup. It is made exactly the same way that you make simple syrup, except you use Demerara sugar, which is a little more like sugar in the raw. It is very different from brown sugar, because the way most places get brown sugar these days is they take refined white sugar and they add molasses back in. The Demerara sugar, it's just a more complex sugar than using the white sugar that you get from simple syrup. So we're going to go with 3/4 of an ounce of the Demerara. You would think I would have learned. There we go. That's how I want to hold these guys. Wow. Okay, 3/4 of an ounce Demerara. There we go. There's the 3/4 line. By the way, I'm getting really, really comfortable with the Leopold jigger. I'm using this a lot. I still like the Japanese style, the taller jiggers, but yeah, I tend to reach for the Leopold first. I think if I were doing a whole bunch of drinks for an evening, I would be moving through my jiggers more rapidly, and so I would be using other jiggers. But right now, like the Leopold just seems to fit and is stable, and so I like that. Second up is we're going to add a spice component to this, kind of like we did with the falernum for the first Planter's Punch. This time we're going to use allspice dram. And allspice dram is, well, this stuff is just brilliant. I mean, the clove in here is just amazing, and allspice, and it's just, I know this is going to turn a lot of you off, but it's like fruitcake in a bottle. It just really is. And it's so delightful. And it adds just that
Good
punch
cake and
of this baking spices, good fruitcake baking spices to your cocktails. Okay, so we're going to go 1/4 of an ounce. And believe me, you don't want to go much more over that by accident because it will take over. Or you could pour, 1/4 ounce over some vanilla ice cream and your life would be really happy. Okay, so there we go. So there's the Demerara syrup. So we've got the sugar compound, the sweetness. And then we need to have some lime juice here. So if you consider this 1 part sweet, then you would expect that because of 1 sour, 2 sweet, that we would go with 1/2 ounce of lime juice. Nope. They're going for a full ounce of lime juice. Hey, who am I to second guess Martin Kate? So we're going to go full ounce lime juice. And there we go. But then we return to the 1, 2, 3, 4 mnemonic because there are, in fact, 3 parts strong to this drink. And that calls for a blended aged Jamaican rum. Sure, The first drink that I had that I know Martin Kate himself made for me was made with the Jamaica rum. So we're going to go with that. Special dry, 100% pot still Jamaican rum, lightly aged. Sure, 3 ounces of that. I believe this is a blend, so it's probably Worthy Park, some Hamden, other things thrown in there. Don't know. Don't care. It's tasty. Okay, and then Smuggler's Cove adds 2 dashes of Angostura bitters to this. Sure, we're not going to do that. Rebel! I have way too many bitters up here to just stick with Angostura, so I'm going to go with something else. What do we got? I got some Japanese bitters. I've got some chocolate bitters. I've got some tiki bitters from Embitterment. Ooh, Embitterment. Oh,
Yeah.
I think that would be yummy. Oh, and what is this? What do we have here? Oh, it turns out that I have friends in the cocktail world, and one of them
Shocked, I tell you.
One of them supplied me with, what is this? This is barrel-aged vanilla bitters, El Guapo. And that seems like it would be a yummy thing to add to this, that it would go just fine with the allspice dram that's already in there. So we're going to go a single dash of the barrel-aged vanilla bitters. Maybe. Well, that's sad.
Is there a cap on it?
There might be a cap on it. Oh, it's a dasher cap. It's supposed to come out, but it's not. So, coming out of that cap. So, what are we going to do? I could just upend this in there. That would be way too much bitters. So, this is why I keep these things around. Yes. 1 dash. There we go. Handled. Where there's a will, there's a way to get at your bitters. Obviously, first time I've used that bitters. Haven't opened it till now. And then we're going to go 1. Oh, no, not again. Oh, there we go. Oh. Hey, the lava lamp up here stopped being so phallic. Before we started, we were looking at this lava lamp up here on the right-hand side, and it was just doing all sorts of phallic-y things. And we're like, oh, man. Totally not safe for work. There you go. All right, I had a cap. I took the cap off, and now I can't find the cap. Wow. Wow. It's probably a black cap. It is a black cap
I have a black cat.
on a black mat. I have no idea where this is. Oh. Huh. Wow. And I haven't had anything to drink, really. I mean, yeah, the thing I was using to dash them is the top to the bottle. Yeah. Wow. Okay, so there we go. We've got some tiki bitters from Embitterment Bitters. We've got a dash of the barrel-aged vanilla bitters from Guapo. That's going to round that out. And then, so Martin, Kate, and the boys put in 12 ounces of crushed ice to this and then blend it. Seems like a lot to me. But, okay. It's fine.
Where's the bar pliers when you need them?
We're okay with that. It's fine. We're good with that. We can call that 12 ounces. In his book, Smuggler's Cove, Kate advocates for throwing a couple of what he calls agitator cubes in there. So slightly larger ice cubes. Let's shove those down in there. And then we're going to do the same thing. We're going to blend this guy for 5 seconds or thereabouts. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How's that? Yep. Oh, that's nice and frothy. Close enough. How's that taste? Oh, that tastes delightful. And there's the allspice dram comes. You're like, oh, that's nice and fruity, and bang! Oh, wow! All right, now I need. What do I need? I need a tiki mug for this. So this would normally be an open pour with a gated finish. So what does an open pour with a gated finish mean? Open pour with gated finish means basically you're pouring this in, and then as you get kind of close to the top of your mug, you're going to slap a strainer on there to hold out the rest of the ice in order to make sure that there's room for all of the good stuff that is in this tin, because you want all of that going to your wonderful patrons, or in this case, me. Unless, of course,
Patron.
Star's going to dig out our Smuggler's Cove 10th Anniversary Edition mug, because we can, all right? That works for me.
Seems appropriate.
Yep, so we're going to go ahead and do that. Get about 3/4 of the way up on there. Slap a strainer on here.
What was the booze for this? David asks.
The booze for this is Plantation's Jamaican rum. Xaymaca. There you go. That's what that looks like. It looks like standard Plantation label with the little grass bits on it. I can't even. I have no idea.
Embellish.
Raffia.
Raffia. You got the little raffia embellishments on it. Yep. I can add a little more of this ice to that. Just top that off. There we go. We're going to stick a Smuggler's Cove swizzle in there, which kind of disappears. It goes away. All right, fine, whatever. How about a cocktail pick? Cocktail pick seems like a good plan. We have another. Here's a cocktail pick from Dizzy Diva. Right. So what are we going to do with this cocktail pick? We're going to throw some cherries on that. I think that seems like a good plan. We all having fun?
Yeah.
Celebrating Mother's Day? Happy moms everywhere. If you're not a happy mom, have a couple of these. You'll be a lot happier. If you're not a happy mom, feed one of these to your kid. You'll be a lot happier. All right, so then we've got some cherries on a skewer from Dizzy Diva. That's going to go there. We're going to add some mint to this. Sorry, Dave, you may not have any more drink left. I don't know, but we're spanking more mint. So there we go. Whoa, whoa. Oh, nice sprig of mint. Oh, you can smell the mint.
Mmm.
Yeah, it's all good. It's all right. Little spritz of some absinthe. There's some Jamaican rum.
Straw.
Do we need a straw? We need
We
a
do.
straw. We should do a Cthulhu straw.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
we'll do the big tall Cthulhu straw. So this is Straw Thulu from
Surfside
Surfside
Sips.
Sips. So we're going to nestle that in with the wonderful mint. And then we're going to take a sip of this. Wow. It's not nearly as sweet. I think it's slightly more on the spicy side.
Yes.
That is definitely a Planter's Punch, which is more to my liking than the previous one. I mean, I thought the previous one was quite tasty. This one,
Nice and cold.
this one, I think this one's better in my book. So, you know, for, I don't know, almost, what are we talking? Donn created his in 1937. And we're now 2021. Okay, so the book was printed in what, 2015, 2016. You'd expect there to be a little bit of improvement over time, right? Martin, you've done it again. That's a really good Planter's Punch. I like that.
Yum.
And remember, there's so they're both saying, "Yum, this is really good." That spicy note.
Spicy, yeah.
There's a 1/4 ounce of allspice dram in there.
But it's not overwhelming spice.
You can imagine if I put
It's
a
almost like a gingerbread cookie.
Yep. If I put a 1/2 ounce of the allspice dram in there, that's all you would taste. But right now, it's complementing that. So there we go. So we've made 3 drinks that my mother would absolutely have no problem with. The Mojito, the Caipirinha, and the Planter's Punch. And we've just demonstrated that sort of the basics of the Planter's Punch riffing off of that 1, 2, 3, 4, even if you don't like stick religiously to it, can make for some very tasty drinks, but very different drinks as well. So there you go. There's Mother's Day special Quarantiki number 56. I can't believe it. I mean, the only thing we're missing here is we don't have any flames, but we did flames earlier in the week, and that was lots of fun. So I think I don't know what to do. This is I never know exactly how to get off the air other than to say thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you for bringing a drink back. Thank you for tuning in. You make this worthwhile.
And yay, studio audience!
Yay, studio audience. Yay, vaccination allowing for us to have studio audience. So this broadcast is brought to you by the powers of Moderna and Pfizer. Potentially J&J. We don't know. Depending, we might have somebody at some point from there. But yeah, get vaccinated. Come here. I make you a drink. How's that? That work? That's a plan. Speaking of which, shout out. If you're in the DC area and you haven't gotten your vaccination yet, and you happen to like Latin American cuisine, Saint Jose Andres, is contributing a $50 gift certificate if you go and get your vaccination and you have not already started your vaccination process up to this point. So he's providing an incentive for you to go finish up your vaccination. $50. $50 gift card at Haleo. Yeah, wouldn't that's just, I mean, okay, granted, $50 at Haleo is a drink and a couple of small plates, but still, I mean, it's yummy. So if you haven't, there's the perfect incentive. I mean, if I can't entice you by saying I'll make you a cocktail, then you can get $50 from Jose Andre and have a cocktail with me, and then go see Jose, or see his chefs make you plates, because small plates. Jose Andre, Haleo, yummy. I think that's about it, right? Love you guys. Thank you for showing up. Love making cocktails. I think I'm getting a little better about having a studio audience. I mean, it's only the second time, but still, we're working on it. And we're going to call it quits. If you haven't already, and you're on the East Coast, it's 8:40. You still got time to call your mothers. So, do so if you can, if you're on speaking terms with them. And if you're not, call whoever in your life is that mother figure and say, "Hi, Mom." Wow, I just had a flashback to the movie Highlander, where he rips the top off the car, leans in, "Mom." It's like, yeah, okay. Go watch Highlander. It's a good Mother's Day flick. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, maybe not. Have a few of these and then watch Highlander, and you'll believe, like me, that it's a Mother's Day flick. How's that? On behalf of the jellyfish, the lava lamps,
The studio audience!
the studio audience, the various tentacles that are everywhere,
The new prince!
thank you for signing in, and we will talk with you guys
Next week.
next week. Yes, definitely.